Better Kansas City with Alexis, Dave, Gary, Haley, Courtney, and Lisa.
Lisa.
All right, well, I am back here
Talking with TAM Stone about one of the most commonly asked questions in interior design is how do you select the right paint colors for your room? Well, we are going to have some great tricks for you, and I have learned a lot here within just the last couple of minutes. And Tam, 6 years ago I was moving into a house. Maybe you're moving into a brand new house and you don't know how to choose the right carpet with what you should put on the walls. Where should people start?
Right. Whenever I'm working with a client, and rarely do you have the luxury of just starting with a blank slate. If I do actually pick colors later after we've selected fabrics, because it actually opens up our fabrics and everything to a much broader spectrum. But usually we're working with existing tile, existing carpeting, all that kind of stuff. And the key to finding the right colors for your room is to identify the undertone.
Okay, tell us about undertone.
Yeah, so when somebody says, I'd like to have my walls painted white.
Look at
this. You
this.
can kind of sit here and go, well, which of these?
Which color white do you want to put on your wall?
Yeah, I don't know if you can even see this. So, there you go.
But some of them are a little bit different. There's some that are like true white, but then there's some that have some yellow, some beige, some gray.
Right.
So that's the undertone?
And typically, yes, and typically we don't really want a true white. What we want is something that either has some warmth or some coolness to it. So that's the undertone that we're trying to identify. And the way to do that is, first of all, don't try to use those little teeny
squares yeah.
and go, wow, how's that going to look on my wall? It's not going to look like that at all. And so what you do is you go ahead and go invest the $3 or so that it will take to invest in getting these larger squares of white that you think that you might want to use.
And we have 5 different options here.
We do.
And if you were just looking at them from scratch, you may pick one, you look at your carpet and be like, that does not work at all.
And the undertone is critical here. So we've got actually carpet that has some warmth to it. It's almost kind of a goldish beige. And you want to set the pieces actually in their position that they're going to be in the home. So we've got the carpeting down on the floor, we've got the paints up on what would be the wall. And what you start to do is you start to eliminate the ones that don't really match. And what you can see here is one by one, this has a pretty strong gray.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't match.
Yeah, this one doesn't match. And then also this one's pretty green. So I would go ahead and take those out. And interestingly enough, when you start to take those out,
it makes it easier.
The other ones start to look like they will match or not, obviously.
This one looks like it'd be too much of the same.
Yeah, and it's got a little bit of an orange to it even, where this is a little bit more golden yellow. And then we get to this last one here, and while they both would probably work all right, this one's a little bit more taupe, and this one's a little bit more to the light side. So now you have what your undertone is, and when you start to go out and look at your paint colors, you want to make sure that you're not going for something that's got a blue undertone or whatever. So if you look across the board here, you'll see I've got 2 greens that are selected here, and one is a very yellow undertone green.
Which is this one?
One is a very blue undertone green. And so you would not want to select the blue undertone green with this because it would clash.
Yeah.
You wouldn't, and when it gets in the large spaces, it's really obvious. So stick with your classic colors, stick with combinations that are put together by professionals, and just stay in your right undertone.
All right, perfect. Well, Tam, thank you so much for joining us today. Alexis, before